Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining me once again. Now, as always, there's 3 things you can do to help me out. That is like, subscribe, and please share my content. If you're so inclined and you're feeling generous, you could always leave me a donation at paypal.me/Morlock Morning Digest. Let's hop right into this coronavirus update for the day. I kept you guys waiting so I could get as much information as possible. Hong Kong now has 15 confirmed cases and 1 death. We're going to jump and compare those numbers to the 4 provinces in China that are all reporting 500 plus cases. Those 4 provinces with 500 plus cases each are reporting 0 deaths per province. Even if Hong Kong is anecdotal evidence, compare those ratios and tell me that the numbers coming out of China are honest numbers, and I will call you a liar straight to your face. Now, the reason I know for a fact the numbers coming out of China are garbage is because somebody developed a model that was based on the best case scenario, the best quarantine possible with this virus. And the numbers that they predicted were 25,000 something cases, right? And 427 people dead. If you put those side by side with the numbers from China, this model was less than 1,000 people that were actually contracting the disease off. And the numbers for deaths were almost identical. This model said that there was 426 people that would be dead on this day. In China, they reported 427 deaths, which means the Communist Party of China is putting out numbers based on a model. It's the only way. Now, news coming out of Thailand. News coming out of Thailand says that they have a way to treat this disease by using a cocktail of flu inoculation mixed with HIV medication, antiviral drugs, which are very expensive to produce, right? We'll get to that in a minute. They said that they've given this to 12 patients, and all 12 patients are testing negative for the virus in less time than the incubation period would take. Now, there's nothing to see here. What does that mean? Well, look at the stock markets all over the world. Look at the media reporting, and you'll realize real quick that the coverage about this virus is absolutely nothing today. Nowhere to be seen. However, the stock markets all over the world are doing better than they have done in a very, 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 very long time. Okay? How was that possible? If in South Korea, Hyundai just shut down one of their biggest plants, but the economies are booming. Germany's stock market rose like freaking 4%. Why? Why are the governments injecting money into their stock markets to distract people from this virus? I'm going to tell you why. Because it's a lot worse than they're telling us, and something that scares me in this whole thing is there is no reported cases coming out of Africa, and there is no reported cases coming out of South America. If you know anything about Chinese interests throughout the world, they are doing a vast amount of business in both places, okay, especially with the Silk Road in Africa. There's a bunch of people that have traveled back and forth for the lunar holiday because there's a lot of Chinese working in Africa, all right? What are the odds if it's reached everywhere else that it hasn't reached Africa? Well, Africa has a very notoriously bad medical system, and I'm not trashing that continent at all, right? There are some countries that have very good medical systems, right? But they're, on the other hand, where the Chinese are working, they're exploiting poorer districts, right? Which means there wouldn't be the medical screening necessary to detect this. And in an area like that, it is going to spread like a wildfire. We've already reached the definition of a pandemic, all right? This thing is on more than 2 continents now, and there's native transmissions happening on multiple continents at the same time. That is the first definition of a pandemic, and it fits it perfectly. Something else I want you guys to think about. Why is it that every 100 years throughout human history, we seem to be hit by a catastrophic disease like this. 100 years ago, it was the Spanish flu, right? Why? Why does it just so happen to be every 100 years, this just so happens to come about? Just think about that and mull it around in your brain. Now, this has reached the United States as far as hysteria, and I'm going to tell you why I know right now. I just went down to Lowe's and I bought myself a box of 3M face masks, N95. Make sure you get the N95 variant or you're not doing yourself any good. This is the only store in all of Western Massachusetts that has these face masks. Go on to Amazon right now and look up how much these are, and you're going to find out that you can't find a box of 20 of them for less than $70, okay? We have another, not confirmed case, but they're looking at somebody else at UMass, which is right down the road from where I live, literally 2.5 miles from my house, right? Who was on the plane with the girl that came back from Wuhan who contracted the disease. Which means this is literally 2.5 miles from my house if this girl just so happens to have something, but the chances are she doesn't. I'm just saying, I'm using it as evidence of how easily this could reach your small town neighborhood, all right? Like I said, protect yourselves and protect your families. If these masks are going for $95, $90 on freaking Amazon right now, right? What's going to happen when everybody needs one just to walk out their front door? How dangerous is your neighbor going to be if they know that you have a closet full of these? Do the math. What are people willing to do in situations like that? All right. Now, something else that I want to discuss is the fact that this disease right now, its pathology seems to be targeting a certain group of people. All right. And that is the military-age man. There is studies saying that people who are infants, young toddlers, prepubescent, are a whole lot less likely to catch this disease, and it has something to do with proteins. Now, that's what they're telling us anyway. According to this study, it also has less of a tendency to target females. Now, why would it be a disease from nature that randomly mutated from a snake to jump into a human? Why would it discriminate based on age and gender? Why would it just so happen to target one of the only ways to wage a physical war? Go after the military-age man? And this thing isn't killing people that are sick. All right, according to the numbers, we could be looking at a 5.5% kill rate on this thing just based on the numbers they're sending us, okay? And the thing is, right, is the people that have this thing that haven't gotten better yet, they haven't gotten to the stage where they would die, okay? So these numbers could be a whole hell of a lot worse than they are, because the Walking Dead could literally be laying in their bed right now just waiting to die, and the numbers aren't getting reported. And like I already told you, the numbers coming out of China are based on a model that somebody developed on the best case scenario. So who knows what the actual death rate is. But it's far exceeding SARS. It's already far exceeding anything we've ever seen. It could very easily pass the Spanish flu, and it's targeting one demographic. And it's killing people my age who are in good health. It makes absolutely no sense at all. So, don't find yourself in a situation where you're killing somebody so you can breathe. Please. If you can find them, go get them. I'm not trying to sensationalize this, but do your research. Okay? You want to protect yourself. You want to protect your family. You don't want to pay the price for being stupid here. God bless you guys, your family. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys in the morning.